The drama opens with a deeply unsettling scene. We watch as small, round, larva-like creatures fall from the sky and land in various locations. From inside each larva, tiny parasite-like organisms emerge. The moment they're out, they start searching for a host. Some of the larvae land near an EDM party. As soon as they hit the ground, they begin to stir. One larva cracks open and a small parasite crawls out. It immediately latches onto a nearby man who is completely wasted. Before he even knows what's happening, the parasite slips in through his ear and burrows inside his body. Within moments, the man starts reacting strangely. His face and body begin transforming in a horrifying way. He opens his mouth, and it splits apart like some grotesque flower. Before anyone can make sense of what's going on, he launches an attack on the crowd. Panic erupts throughout the party. People scatter in every direction trying to save themselves, but the man kills every single person there. In just a matter of moments, what was a celebration turns into a bloodbath. Meanwhile, we're introduced to a young woman named Suin, who works as a cashier at a store. A man comes in and gets into a dispute with her. The two argue back and forth until he storms out in a rage. But the man doesn't leave. He waits around until her shift ends. When Suin finishes work and heads home on her bike, he follows her in his car. Suin has no idea. Then, without warning, he rams his car straight into her bike. The impact sends her flying onto the road. He gets out of the car, pulls out a knife, and attacks her. Suin tries to crawl away, but he chases her down and stabs her over and over again. She's critically wounded and loses consciousness. Her condition is so dire that survival seems almost impossible. But then, right beside her, one of the larvae falls from the sky. The man moves in to finish her off, but in the next instant, he's sliced clean in two. That was almost certainly the work of the parasite that had just entered Suin's body. The next day, Detective Kim visits Suin in the hospital, having come to look into the case. It baffled him because this crime scene was nothing like the usual cases. Normally in cases like this, the attacker gets away. Here, everything had flipped. The victim survived. The criminal was dead. This is also where we learn that Kim and Suin already know each other. Back when Suin was just 10 years old, her father used to abuse her. He would hit her regularly. She eventually found the courage to report him to the police. Her father was arrested after that complaint, and it was Detective Kim who handled that case. He's been looking out for Suin ever since. At the hospital, Kim asks her about what happened the previous night. Suin tells him, "That customer stabbed me repeatedly. I blacked out from it." But when she shows him her wounds, there's not a single fresh cut on her body, just some old scars that looked like they had healed years ago. Kim and the other officers are stunned. They tell her, "You're probably still in shock, that's why you can't remember things clearly." But Suin doesn't back down. She says, "I didn't have any of these scars before. I'm absolutely sure that these are from last night." After that, the two of them talk, and we get a glimpse of Suin's life. It's not going well. She has no one, and she spends most of her time alone. We're also introduced to Detective Kang, Kim's partner, whose approach to the job is noticeably laid back. Then we meet Seo Kang-woo, a member of a gang who'd come to take out a rival gang's leader. His attempt fails, and now he's become a target himself. To stay alive, he has no choice but to run. The rival gang's men give chase. To shake them off his trail, he dumps his phone and everything else he's carrying along the way so they can't track his location. He eventually makes it to his sister's place to hide out. His older sister, Kyung-hee, is there, but she's acting strangely. His younger sister isn't home, so he asks Kyung-hee about her. Kyung-hee tells him she went somewhere. He finds his younger sister's old phone in the house, along with a pamphlet from Sejin Church, an invitation to some kind of meeting. Something about it doesn't sit right with him, so he decides to keep an eye on his older sister to figure out what's really going on. After being discharged from the hospital, Suin is riding a bus home when she suddenly hears a sharp ringing in her ears. It keeps buzzing relentlessly. Around the same time, she notices a stranger staring at her. Unsettled, she gets off the bus, but the man follows her. Sensing danger, she tries to lose him. Then Kyung-hee shows up as well, and together the two of them corner Suin. Both of them immediately shift into their parasite forms, which triggers the parasite inside Suin to emerge as well. They hand her a pamphlet, the Sejin Church invitation, and tell her, "Our base is at Sejin Church. Our whole organization operates out of there. Come meet us there." And just like that, they're gone. Kang-woo had already been secretly tailing his sister, so he followed them right to this location. Hidden in the shadows, he watches everything unfold, and what he sees terrifies him. But when he tries to slip away, Suin's parasite spots him. The parasite threatens Kang-woo and gives him specific instructions. It had a job for him, and that's the only reason it let him live. The scene then shifts to Suin in her normal state, with the parasite no longer in control. Kang-woo meets her and starts relaying what the parasite told him to pass along. Kang-woo explains, parasites typically devour a host's brain and then take complete control of their body. But Suin's case is completely different. When the parasite entered her, she was already on the verge of death from multiple stab wounds. The parasite had to heal those injuries first just to keep her alive, which meant it never got the chance to fully consume her brain. That's why Suin's consciousness is still intact. even with a parasite living inside her. The parasite can only take full control of her body for about 15 minutes a day. That makes her completely unlike any other parasite host. With other hosts, the brain is entirely gone, and the parasites can even reshape their bodies. But the parasite inside Suin couldn't consume her brain, and it can no longer alter her physical form. If Suin dies, the parasite dies with her. Parasites refer to this special condition as a hybrid. The biggest risk is this: if other parasites discover that Suin is a hybrid rather than a normal host, they'll kill her on the spot. To them, she's a liability. She'll have to stay away from other parasites and keep her true nature hidden at all costs. After learning all of this, Suin goes home with her mind spinning. Since communicating directly with the hybrid parasite isn't possible, she writes out a list of questions for it in her diary. The hybrid takes control and writes the answers in the same diary. It's a strange, improvised way for the two of them to talk. Later, while riding a bus, Suin opens the diary and reads through it. The hybrid had also recorded a video of itself on Suin's phone, a way for Suin to better understand what it is. Watching the video only unsettles her more. None of this feels like it should be happening to her. All she can think is, why is all of this weird, terrifying stuff happening to me? Meanwhile, on the other side of town, a man is luring a young woman and planning to get intimate with her. The woman plays along sweetly and leads him somewhere. She brings him to an old abandoned building where several other people are already waiting inside. The man is confused. Before he can ask any questions, the woman and everyone else in the room reveal their true forms. In an instant, their faces split open and they all shift into their parasite forms, and they go in for the kill. The man backs away in panic, but they surround him on all sides. Just then, a special task force bursts into the building. The moment the team is inside, they open fire on the parasites without a second's hesitation. Within seconds, the whole situation explodes. Several parasites go down from the gunfire while the team tries to capture others alive. In the chaos, one parasite manages to slip out of the building, but the moment it steps outside, it hears a strange ringing sound. It follows the sound and ends up at a van. Peering inside, it sees a man, another parasite, but one who's been bound and has a strange device fitted to his head. Officer Choi arrives on the scene and immediately opens fire on the escaped parasite, but it manages to dodge the bullets and gets away. We then learn more about this group. It's a special task force, a unit the government secretly assembled to deal with the parasite threat. Its sole mission: track down parasites and eliminate them. The unit is called the Grey Team, and it's led by Officer Choi. According to the Grey Team's research, parasites can sense each other's presence. When another parasite is nearby, they hear a distinct ringing sound. So the team captured a parasite alive to exploit that weakness. The captured parasite has a special helmet-like device locked onto its head and is being kept alive on purpose. Its presence draws other parasites out into the open. When one follows the signal and closes in, the Grey Team hunts it down. Because of this role, the captive parasite has been given the codename Hunting Dog. The Grey Team has also uncovered something alarming. Parasites are no longer operating alone. They've built an organized network. Inside the building, the team finds a large stockpile of human corpses. Food storage, essentially, since parasites survive by eating people. The parasites have also developed their own identifying symbol. They're working in groups now, and the threat they pose has multiplied dramatically. The scene shifts to Detective Kim and Detective Kang. After undergoing full body scans, the two officers go to meet the special task force. The Grey Team has set up a major operation in the city and is scanning every police officer in one place to confirm that none of them have been taken over by a parasite. Once Kim and Kang arrive, all the officers are gathered and Choi addresses them. Standing before the assembled crowd, she tells them, "Parasites are living among us. They take over people's bodies and use them as hosts." The revelation sends a visible shock through every officer in the room. Choi introduces herself. "I head the Parasite Special Forces Unit. Our team is called the Grey Team, and we have one mission: find the parasites and destroy them." She continues, "We have extensive intelligence on them. Take the EDM Festival massacre. Parasites were behind every one of those killings." She then explains how parasites work. They eat the brain of a human host and take complete control of the body. That's why every officer was brain scanned before entering today, to make sure no parasite has taken up residence inside any of you. Choi shows the assembled officers the body of a dead parasite. She explains, when parasites attack, they split their faces open in a grotesque way. The moment they enter a human body, they devour the brain entirely and replace it with themselves, then commandeer the body. Their entire structure is made from a single type of cell. That's actually what makes them easy to identify. It's Edar. If you snip off a tiny bit of hair from a suspected parasite and that hair vanishes on its own, you're looking at a parasite. Because every part of them shares the same cellular structure, and once separated from the host, it can't survive independently. She then explains how to kill one. To take down an infected person, you either have to destroy the body entirely or take out the heart in a single clean shot. A standard firearm doesn't do much, but a shotgun is highly effective. It's accurate, and the wounds it inflicts go deep. Choi then reveals her most significant asset. Our team has the most advanced parasite research anywhere, and the biggest reason for that is the live parasite we have in custody. She pauses. The one we've been keeping, the one we call Hunting Dog, is actually my husband. A parasite invaded his body and took over. It attacked me too. She touches the side of her head. It bit off one of my ears in that attack. I barely escaped, and I captured it in the process. She tells them about the helmet. The device on Hunting Dog's head is made from a special alloy that's virtually impossible to break. She then releases a gas inside the helmet, something that causes the Hunting Dog intense pain, to demonstrate control. Choi continues briefing the officers. Whenever a parasite gets close to another parasite, they hear a distinct ringing. We've turned that into a weapon. Hunting Dog wears a remote trigger. Whenever a parasite is nearby, he presses it. And if he doesn't, I pump that agonizing gas right back into the helmet. That's how we've made him cooperate, and that's how we've been tracking down the rest of them. She closes with a mission statement. Parasites are an existential threat to humanity. They literally eat us to survive. The Grey team has one purpose: to wipe every last one of them out. We then check back in with Kang-woo, who heads to a repair shop to get his younger sister's phone fixed. But the rival gang has tracked him there. They show up and come after him. He grabs a bike and makes a run for it. After a prolonged chase, he finds a safe spot and calls one of his gang members. They make plans to meet up later, using his younger sister's phone to make the call. Over on the other side of the city, Detective Kang hands over the full case files to Choi so the Grey team can dig into them. Suin's case is in that stack. Detective Kim, meanwhile, is starting to wonder if Suin might have a parasite inside her. To put his suspicion to rest, he goes to see her and gets into a conversation. During the talk, he quietly plucks a single strand of her hair and watches to see if it disappears. It doesn't disappear. He exhales in relief, thinking she's in the clear. He gives Suin a keyring as a gift, then heads out. That night, the same two parasites forcibly bundle Suin into a car and take her to Sage in church. They want to introduce her to their leader, a pastor. He had once been an actual pastor, but a parasite has long since taken over his body. Meanwhile, Kang-woo makes his way to Sage in church as well, having been watching the place for some time. He'd been searching for his younger sister and traced a connection back to this location. Inside the church, Suin arrives to find the place already packed with parasites. The pastor is at the front, leading them. He plays a video for the group, footage of the parasite that had slipped away from the Grey team during their earlier operation. In the video, it warns them, "The police and the Grey team are actively hunting us. They're tracking us down and killing us." When the video ends, the pastor addresses the gathering. Our mission is singular: end humanity and take dominion over this world. To do that, we have to work together, support each other, and learn to fight. While the pastor is speaking, Kang-woo slips quietly into the church and starts searching for his younger sister. He makes his way to a storage area, and what he finds inside destroys him. The room is filled with corpses. It's the parasite's food supply stockpiled for later, and somewhere in that grim pile he finds his younger sister's body. Devastated and furious, he attacks a parasite standing guard nearby without thinking it through. A brutal fight breaks out, and the noise brings the rest of the parasites pouring in from the church. Within seconds, an entire swarm is charging at Kang-woo. He bolts, but now he has a full pack of parasites on his tail. He manages to get out of the building and into the nearby woods, then calls one of his gang members to share his location, just in case things go south and he needs backup to get out. Kang-woo is running through the forest when the rival gang suddenly cuts him off. He's stunned. He already had parasites behind him, and now this. He confronts them. "This isn't the time to be fighting each other. There are parasites out here. We need to get out of here right now. If we stay, they'll kill all of us." But the rival gang doesn't believe a word of it. They're about to jump him when the parasites arrive and tear through them entirely. Then they turn on Kang-woo as well, but the hybrid shows up just in time and pulls him out of danger. The two run together until they reach the spot where Kang-woo's gang contact is waiting with a car. They jump in and peel out of there without a second to spare. But one parasite gives chase, and this one is different from the rest. It had learned to split its face open and use it to glide through the air, and it takes flight right behind them. Inside the car, Kang-woo learns the truth. His own gang contact had tipped off the rival gang about his location. The shock hits him hard. He finds out that his gang, far weaker than the rival outfit, had cut a deal with them. In exchange for that arrangement, they'd promised to take Kang-woo out. So now it wasn't just the rival gang after him. His own gang wanted him dead too. The realization sparks an immediate fight inside the car. But before it can go anywhere, the flying parasite slams into the vehicle from above. The impact throws the car off balance and it crashes badly. In the aftermath, the hybrid and the flying parasite go at each other in a fierce battle. The flying parasite had impressive abilities, including actual flight, but it had never developed those powers for close-quarters combat. Everything it had went into flying. In a physical fight, it can't keep up with the hybrid. The two clash hard, but the hybrid slowly gains the upper hand. The parasite tries to flee, but the hybrid grabs it, drags it back down, and finishes it off. On the other side of the crash, the car is slowly sliding toward a cliff's edge. Kang Woo is still trapped inside and is about to go over the edge, but the hybrid grabs his hand at the last second and hauls him back up to safety. Back at the Grey Team's headquarters, Choi is sitting at her desk going through Suin's case file. The more she reads, the more her expression changes. The rapid healing of Suin's wounds, her survival, the bizarre circumstances of the whole case, Choi becomes convinced that a parasite is living inside Suin. The scene then cuts to Suin and Kang Woo, holed up in an apartment. Together, they decide to tell the police everything about Sejin Church. They go to a phone booth and Kang Woo calls Detective Kim, telling him Sejin Church is actually a parasite hideout. Kim immediately passes the information to Kang, and through Kang it reaches Choi. The police and the Grey Team coordinate a joint raid on Sejin Church. When they get there, not a single parasite is anywhere to be found. But there are plenty of bodies. The corpses make it clear, yet the parasites had been there. They just cleared out before the raid. While searching the church, Detective Kim comes across a key ring. It's the one he gave Suin. The moment he sees it, his suspicion is back. If the key ring is here, Suin must have been here too. He quietly slips it into his pocket, but Choi sees him do it. One thing the raid makes clear, the pastor at Sejin Church is a parasite. The story then moves to Detective Kang. He shows up at a location that turns out to be the parasite's new base. And here's the reveal. Kang has been secretly helping the parasites. He was the one who tipped them off about the Sejin Church raid. At the new base, the parasites give Kang a special knife, one fashioned from their own cells. They hand it to him and tell him to use it to kill Hunting Dog. Meanwhile, Detective Kim asks Suin to meet him at an abandoned playground. Suin arrives with Kang Woo in tow. Choi, who has been tailing Detective Kim, also pulls up in her hunting dog van. Choi moves in and attacks them right away, sending everyone scattering. Suin and Kang Woo try to run, but Choi chases them into a warehouse. Inside, the hybrid takes over and faces off with Choi in a fight. Kang Woo uses the distraction to slip away, but by now the Grey Team, whom Choi had already called in, has the location surrounded. Kang uses the chaos to quietly sneak up on Hunting Dog and stabs him with the special knife, killing him. Kang Woo happens to pass by at just that moment and witnesses it. Back in the warehouse, the hybrid is eventually cornered and captured. Only Choi saw Suin's parasite form. The rest of the team just sees a normal woman. Even so, at Choi's urging, some officers attempt to shoot Suin. Detective Kim steps in and stops them. He refuses to let them kill her, but Choi still has her arrested and brought outside. Outside, the team discovers that Hunting Dog is dead. His body has taken on the rigid appearance of a mannequin, which is what happens when a parasite dies. Choi removes the special helmet from the dead Hunting Dog and puts it on Suin's head. The Grey Team then debates Suin's case. A heated argument breaks out within the group. Suin's brain scan results show her mind is completely intact, no parasite control whatsoever. Detective Kim sides with Suin, arguing she's a normal person, but Choi refuses to accept that. I saw her transform with my own eyes, she insists. There's clearly a parasite inside her, and maybe she's different from the rest. Maybe that's why her brain is still intact. She's obviously a special case. The rest of the team remains unconvinced. None of them actually saw Suin in parasite form, and her medical reports are clean. The debate keeps going, but Choi eventually makes a compelling enough case, and the decision is made to send Suin to a lab. Kim is devastated. Meanwhile, Suin, now sealed inside the helmet, which induces a coma-like state, drifts somewhere deep in her subconscious. In that strange inner space, she encounters the hybrid. The hybrid has taken on Suin's appearance, but exists there in a form like a sand sculpture. In this space, Suin revisits her past. She watches herself as a little girl, reporting her father to the police because of how he treated her. But after she made that report, people turned on her, because how could a child report her own father? After that, she went to see her mother, who had remarried and moved on with her life. Her mother was visibly distressed to see Suin. Watching all of it, Suin is reminded of how she's always felt, that no one in the world has ever truly loved her. And now the hybrid's arrival has tangled her life up even more. But the hybrid tells her something she needed to hear. There are people out there who do care about you. Detective Kim thinks of you like his own daughter. He's always looked out for you, and now I'm here too, and I'm always going to protect you. Kang calls the pastor and tells him that Suin is being transported to a lab. On the other side, Detective Kim tracks down Kang Woo and confronts him. Kang Woo lays everything out. He tells Kim, Suin isn't a regular parasite, she's a hybrid. I'll tell you how I met her and how the hybrid has been trying to protect Suin all along. He also tells him it was Detective Kang who killed Hunting Dog. Either Kang is a parasite himself, or he's working with them. Kim doesn't buy it. Then Kim says, if we're going to save Suin, we're going to have to work together. Kang Woo wants no part of it at first and tries to walk away, but Kim keeps talking, and something in his words lands. Kang Woo's mind changes. He agrees to join Kim in the mission to save Suin. Using an access key that Kim gave him, Kang Woo gets inside the Grey Team's base. He moves through the facility looking for Suin. A guard spots him and they get into a fight. The guard starts getting the better of him, so he pulls out pepper spray, breaks free, strips the guard of his uniform, and moves on. He eventually finds the truck Suin is set to be transferred in, climbs aboard, and starts trying to free her. But Choi appears and the two of them start fighting inside the truck. As it crosses a bridge, parasites attack it from outside. They hit the entire Grey Team convoy, and Choi gets pulled away dealing with the assault. Kang Woo takes the opening, pulls Suin out of the truck, and the two of them speed off in a car. Meanwhile, Detective Kang seizes the moment and gets into a car of his own. Detective Kim is already inside. Kang heads for a destination of his choosing. The moment Suin finds out, she rushes after them because Kang could hurt Kim. She traces them to the parasite's new base. By the time she gets there, it's too late. Confronted by Kim, Detective Kang drops the act and comes clean. I got nothing from being a cop, he says. No good life, no future for my kid. The way I saw it, helping the parasites was the path to power and money. Then the pastor arrives. Kim sees an opening and lunges, but the parasite inside the pastor is faster. In an instant, it slices Kim's throat and uses the pastor's own body to take over Kim's, planting its head onto Kim's body. This parasite's unique ability, it can sever a human head, then use the decapitated body as its new host. Within moments, Kim's body is under the parasite's control. Suin walks in on all of this and sees it happen with her own eyes. Watching Kim like that shatters something inside her. She's consumed by grief and rage, and the hybrid surges out and attacks the parasite Kim. A violent fight breaks out, but the parasite gains the upper hand, and the hybrid starts losing. The parasite is about to finish the hybrid off when Kang Woo drives up in a car, pulls the hybrid out of the fight, and the two of them escape. We're then shown the backstory of Kang Woo's two sisters. His younger sister, Jin Hee, was hardworking and responsible. One night, on her way home from work, she spots Kyung Hee together with the pastor, and their behavior is clearly off. Something about them alarms her. She decides to call Kang Woo and tell him what she saw, but before she can do anything, the two of them kill her and lock her body in the storage room. Back in the present, Kang Woo calls a friend and asks if the two of them can lie low at his place for a while and get some help. They're now being hunted on multiple fronts, not just parasites, but the Grey Team and Kang Woo's own gang members too. They need a safe place to disappear. On another front, government officials are leaning hard on the Grey Team. They're given a clear order: wipe out every parasite enamel gun within 3 days. A massive music festival is just around the corner, and a war hero is set to be honored at it. The mayor, the strong frontrunner for the next presidential election, is also attending. Canceling the event isn't an option under any circumstances. The political pressure is immense, and the 3-day deadline is firm. The public is also informed about the parasite situation. Though they're told everything is under control, the authorities are actively eliminating the parasites. During this time, the parasite now inhabiting Detective Kim's body calls Kyung Hee. It tells her, Suin is a hybrid. She's different from the rest of us. It orders Kyung Hee to find Suin and eliminate her. Then Kim does something no one expected. He walks right into Choi's office and hands her the location of the parasite's new base. A short while later, Suin calls Choi and asks to meet her on a hotel rooftop. When Choi arrives, Suin tries to lay it all out. Don't trust Kim or Kang. They're both parasites. That location you were given could be a trap. But Choi won't hear it. Instead, she tries to use the Grey Team to capture Suin. When things start going sideways, the hybrid takes control and gets Suin out. Kang Woo shows up in time, and together, the two of them get away in a car. While all of this is happening, Kang Woo's friend is alone at the apartment. Kyung Hee shows up, threatens him, and takes him hostage. Then she calls Suin and Kang Woo, summoning them there. There's a problem. The hybrid had already taken over Suin earlier that day for the full 15 minutes. It needs several more hours before it can take control again. Against Kyung Hee, Suin and Kang Woo together don't stand a chance. So they come up with a plan. Suin will pretend to be the hybrid and buy time by talking to Kyung Hee. The moment Suin steps in front of Kyung Hee, she starts putting on the act. But Kyung Hee came here to kill Suin and she doesn't hesitate. She attacks. The two sides square off. Suin and Kang-woo try to hold their own against her, but fighting a parasite is nearly impossible. In the middle of it all, Kang-woo's friend gets caught in the crossfire. Kyung-hee attacks him and he's killed. The loss hits Kang-woo like a sledgehammer, but he forces himself to stay standing, grabs Suin, and they get out of there. Meanwhile, Suin's words have been gnawing at Choi. She'd warned her not to trust Kim or Kang. To get to the truth, Choi secretly snips a small piece of Kang's hair and runs a test, but it doesn't disappear. So Choi concludes Suin was lying. Armed with the location Kim provided, Choi leads the Grey team in for a strike. The whole time, Suin and Kang-woo keep calling her repeatedly, warning her that location could be a trap. Don't go in. Choi doesn't listen and launches the operation. When the Grey team arrives, they do find parasites inside. An intense firefight breaks out immediately. One by one, the team takes them down. This time, Kim and Kang are right there alongside them, helping kill parasites. After the operation, the Grey team is satisfied. They believe they've cleared the area entirely, and at this point, Choi has zero reason to believe anything Suin told her. On a bus passing nearby, Kyung-hee watches the Grey team systematically kill every parasite at the location, the blow that hits her hardest. Watching Kim and Kang actively help take down their own kind. She feels completely betrayed, but soon after, the truth behind Kim's actions comes to light. The leader parasite inside Kim's body was using the other parasites. They were disposable. His real plan was something else entirely. He wanted the Grey team to believe all the parasites were dead. That way, the music festival would go ahead without a hitch. And once the Grey team was sent elsewhere, the city would be left wide open. His actual move? Take the mayor during the festival, possess his body, and use that position to slowly seize control of the entire country. Detective Kang was in on it. He believed that once the leader parasite became mayor, it would slot him into a position of serious power in the system. A brief flashback shows us how it started. Kang had always been bitter about money and his inability to give his kid a decent future. He went to the pastor's place one day to investigate him, and instead came face to face with the parasite inside. They made a deal on the spot. Kang's been doing their work ever since. The leader parasite had drawn a clear lesson from humanity. Humans succeeded because they cooperate. They build organizations and armies and accomplish enormous things by working together. So it brought all the parasites together under a unified structure and installed itself as their leader. Back in the present, the leader parasite, now in Kim's body, stands before the media and announces that all parasites in Namilgun have been eliminated. But 2 parasites are still at large. He holds up photos of Suin and Kyung-hee for the press, declaring, "These are the only 2 remaining, but they'll be found and dealt with quickly." He then reassures the public that the music festival will go on without any issues, and there's nothing to fear. Choi is watching, and something feels off. Kim isn't the same. His mannerisms have shifted. His behavior is completely different from before. Soon after, photos of Suin and Kyung-hee are distributed all across the country. They're branded as wanted parasites everywhere you turn. Kyung-hee, furious at what's happened, calls Suin and tells her to come meet her. Her new target? The leader parasite inside Kim. The two meet in a garden. Kang-woo still hates Kyung-hee. She was responsible for his younger sister's death, and his older sister is still under parasite control. He wants to kill her on sight, but Kyung-hee makes the case. What's between us can wait. Right now, stopping Kim and Kang is what matters. The 3 of them ultimately agree. Getting to the festival and derailing the leader parasite's plan is the only thing that counts. On her end, Choi has been quietly running her own investigation. She discovers that Hunting Dog was killed with a special knife. At first glance, the wound suggested a parasite did it, but the injury was actually made by a blade. The moment that sinks in, Choi starts thinking Suin and Kang-woo may have been telling the truth. Her doubt deepens when senior officials receive an anonymous tip claiming parasites have set up a new base in another city. The order comes down immediately. Choi and the entire Grey team are to relocate there at once. Security for the mayor at the music festival in Namilgun is handed over to Kim and Kang. The Grey team is forced to leave the city. At that exact moment, the hybrid gets through to Choi and says the leader parasite inside Kim is planning to take the mayor today at the festival. The moment those words hit, Choi makes a gamble. She turns the Grey team around and brings them back to Namilgun on her own authority. The music festival is already underway. The mayor is right there near the stage. Kim moves steadily toward his mark. When the moment comes, he drops into his parasite form and attacks everyone in range. Off to the side, Kang rescues the mayor, or appears to, steering him away from the crowd. Then Kyung-hee steps up and charges at the leader parasite. At the same moment, Choi arrives at the festival grounds. She comes face to face with the hybrid. They fight, but rather than take Choi down, the hybrid only disarms her and says, "The real enemy isn't me." Then it moves on. Between Kyung-hee and the leader parasite, the battle is prolonged and brutal. In the end, Kyung-hee goes down, but she's inflicted so much damage on the leader parasite that Kim's human body is no longer viable. In the ensuing mayhem, Kang-woo seizes the opportunity and slips away with the mayor. With no working body left, the leader parasite needs a new human host immediately. The only person in front of it at that moment is Detective Kang. The leader parasite severs Kang's head from his body and takes control of it. The hybrid arrives just as this happens, and the moment it faces the leader parasite, an all-out fight erupts. During the battle, the leader parasite does something extraordinary. Why? It exits the body it's controlling and fights Suin directly while simultaneously keeping the body fully operational from outside. That's the leader parasite's defining ability. It can leave its host's body and still control it remotely. The hybrid and the leader parasite exchange relentless blows, but neither is backing down. Then Choi arrives on the scene. She's struggling to decide shoot Suin or shoot Kang. In that moment, Kang, on the other side of the room, is screaming, "Shoot Suin! She's a parasite! Take her out now!" But the leader parasite has quietly closed in behind Choi and is about to strike. In the last instant, Choi catches a reflection, and in it, she can clearly see that the back of Kang's head is gone. That's when she understands. The leader parasite has taken over Kang's body. She fires at Kang without hesitation. At the same time, the hybrid finishes off the leader parasite. The Grey team arrives shortly after. When the fighting is over, Suin loses consciousness, which always happens to her in the moment before she returns to her own state. Kang-woo gets to her and holds her steady. The Grey team trains their guns on the two of them and moves to make an arrest. But Choi steps forward. "There's no parasite in Suin," she says. And with that, the Grey team stands down and lets her go. The story jumps forward several months. Suin is trying to build a normal life, and she's started working at a store. Then Kang-woo comes to find her. He tells her he's left his old gangster life behind. He's now part of the Grey team, fighting parasites. He also tells her she could join if she wanted to. And he hands her a letter, one the hybrid wrote for her. In it, the hybrid wrote, "You are not alone." The scene shifts to the Grey team's headquarters. A man arrives to see Choi. He introduces himself as Shinichi, describes himself as an expert on parasites, and extends his hand to shake hers. As he reaches out, the camera slowly zooms in on his hand. And right there, on that close-up of his hand, the Season 1 comes to an end.